of the southern border. Let's bring in Alfonso Aguilar, former chief of the U.S. Office of Citizenship and director of Hispanic engagement for the American Principles Project. Alfonso, thanks for being with us. How do you lose track of more than 300,000 children?
Well, that's what happens when the system is overwhelmed. This is a huge scandal, and it's a direct result of the responsible policies of the Biden-Harris administration. When you have open border policies that encourage millions of people to make that dangerous trek to our southern border, our Border Patrol is going to be overwhelmed. So they don't have the resources to properly vet all these people. So what's happening with the children is that they're being released to the Department of Health and Human Services without being put in removal proceedings and without being issued a notice to appear before immigration court, which actually would facilitate tracking those individuals. So once they're with HHS often surrenders and turns in those children to foster homes or relatives, but often they end up turning in those children to criminal organizations or to traffickers who exploit the children for sex or labor. So this administration has created a child trafficking crisis, and it has to be called out. And I'm surprised. I wonder, where are all those Democrats that during the Trump years went to the border to denounce President Trump for alleging falsely that he was putting kids in cages? Where are all those Democrats asking the administration about those kids? Kamala Harris has had a leadership role in this issue, and she should tell us, where are those kids?
I want to put the numbers on the screen because they are absolutely shocking, and they come from the U.S. government. It says ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, reports that from fiscal year 2019 to 2023, more than 32,000 unaccompanied children, UCs, failed to appear for their immigration hearings. Then it goes on to say that ICE reports from fiscal year 2019 to 2023, ICE did not serve notices to appear to more than 291,000 unaccompanied minors. UCs who do not appear in immigration court are considered more at risk for trafficking, exploitation, or forced labor. So, yeah, they've just fallen through the cracks, it would appear, and all kinds of bad things can be happening to those kids.
Well, absolutely. The massive movement of people that we're seeing, which is unprecedented, facilitates child trafficking. Criminal organizations know this. So kids are being sent here. And as I've said, HHS is turning them to criminal organizations or to traffickers. This is very serious. We've never had this type of numbers before. And I think that we have a child trafficking crisis in our hands that we've never seen before. So it's very important to talk about this issue, because normally we look at different aspects of the border crisis, but rarely we focus on what's happening with the children.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the state of California says it's spending $5 billion on medical care for the illegal immigrants. City of New York says it's going to be spending billions of dollars on care and housing for the illegal immigrants. What about these sanctuary cities like New York? I mean,
right.
Go ahead.
It's part of the same problem, right? Just like our immigration system is overwhelmed, our cities, our communities are overwhelmed. We don't have the resources to receive so many people in such a short period of time. Think about it. This administration has encouraged over 10 million people to make that dangerous trip to our southern border. According to Secretary Mayorkas, over 85% of those individuals have been let in the country. Our cities do not have the resources to welcome those individuals and to provide the basic services. So they have to take away resources from citizens. And the U.S. taxpayers and the state taxpayers are covering for these services. In the case of New York, for example, in the past 3 years, they spent about $10 billion to deal with all the migrants that are arriving in the city. So it's really totally out of control, and this cannot continue.
Well, Alejandro Mayorkas said the border is under control, famously. Alfonso Aguilar, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.